Welcome to TigerComp. This is Word tutorial number 2. As the tutorial sheet says, we are going to be focusing on bold, italics, underline, alignment, bullets, and numbering. Basically, we're going to be looking at these two menus within the Word program to figure out how to utilize these better. Now, we're going to start by kind of reviewing what we learned last time as we go to page layout. And we're going to go to our margins and we're going to create a custom margin this time. And it says 1.1 on the top and bottom. So that's real quick like that. And then a 0.8 on the left and the right. And so you need to have that setting set up as you're working with that. Now, one thing we want to look at real quick is just about how things get applied within Word as you're working with things. First of all, we see kind of our gray lines. That's where our margins are set up. And now we see our blinking cursor line, and that tells us where we're able to type text. Now, in just a minute, we're going to be going through bold, italicize, underline, and a little bit with changing fonts. And when it comes to this, you need to understand that if I have a blank document like this and I start to change things like bold or the font, it's going to apply to the entire document because nothing has happened on that document. However, if I've typed something like a simple phrase like this, right? But now I've pressed enter and I've gone back and now I start making changes. Only the section that I'm now working with is going to have those changes to the font, to the different settings, even the line spacing. And so if you want it to apply to the entire document, it's best to do it right away. Or sometimes you got to go back because you want changes in different ways. You really got to think about what section you are trying to apply the changes to. And a lot of that has to do with selecting things and highlighting them and different things like that. And so we'll be working with that periodically throughout the different tutorials as you will see. All right, let's continue on with the tutorial. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to what's called Bookman Old Style, and you can either search it, just scroll down, or if you type it in, sometimes it comes up rather quickly. All right, and we want to change the font size to, I can't see it on this screen, 14. Good. And then you can go ahead and type your first and last name. Next direction says press enter 3 times. Now, if you're not really sure if you press enter 3 times, you can go up to this symbol right here. And you can click that, and every time you see this kind of backwards capital P, it kind of looks like that's the symbol for the fact that you pressed enter. And there's always one right behind the blinking cursor because it's ready to put one in when you're ready to put one in. And so I pressed it 1, 2, 3 times, and now here I'm on the 4th line here. And I'm going to insert a title here called The Importance of Math. But once I'm done with that, I want to select it, and I want this to be an 18-point font. And so you see how I clicked, left-clicked, dragged it over, and highlighted it. Or technically it's not highlighting, it's selecting. And even though it kind of looks like it's being highlighted, it's selecting, and then I can go up here and I can make the changes that I want. Go ahead and do that at this time. Now, the next big box that we're going to look at is under the paragraph ribbon, and we can see what's called alignment. You have left align, and so that means the words start on the left and move to the right. You have right align, where the words would start on the right and move towards the left. And then you have what's called center alignment, start in the middle, and then they kind of equally spread out left and right. And the last is called justified, which can be similar to centered, but it really plays along with making sure that your paragraphs never have a longer word and then a shorter word. Everything's perfectly lined up. You can kind of see the little pictures up at the top like that, describing how each of them are going to work. We're actually going to put our title as a center alignment. just like that. And now we can continue working with our document. All right, the next set of directions says to type the paragraph that I just put right here on the screen. And even though it looks differently on the page, you can see some bolding, you can see some italicizing, that kind of stuff. Right now, I just type it out as you see it, just like it's on the screen, and that's going to allow us to learn how to make changes to it. The directions say that we don't want it to be 18-point font, we want it to be 12. So one adjustment I got to make there is make a 12-point font. And then it also tells you to make sure your paragraph spacing is 1.5, and that should be a review from last time. And so in the end, you should have a paragraph like this. From here, we're going to go back and we're going to make all the changes that you see in the tutorial. And so we're going to go back and we're going to work with italicizing things, we're going to look with bolding things, and we're going to look with underlining things. And all those things can be found here in the menu that looks like this. All right, right here is that same menu: bold, italicize, underline. There are actually shortcuts to it, so if you hold down the control key and press U at the same time, it'll change things to underline. Same with italicize, control I, control B for bold. And right now the main focus is to learn this. We're going to be practicing shortcuts in a different tutorial, but it is a great habit to get into, to learn your shortcuts. It makes doing things so much faster on the computers. And so I'm going to go ahead and look at my tutorial. I'm going to make the changes that I see there by bolding, italicizing, and whatnot. You can go ahead and do the same thing. All right, so your document should now have a paragraph with all these different things worked into them. And the next step says press enter twice and type this short phrase right there. And if you want to pause the video before I move on, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to continue on. The next major step is working with what's called bullets within Word. And once again, we're going to go up to our paragraph ribbon, and we have these different things. We have bullets. We can also do numbered lists. You could also do really fancy outline type things. But we're going to go here to the bullet menu, and we're going to enter a bulleted list into our document. And in the end, our bulleted list is going to look like this. Right? It's going to have the reasons why math is important, and it's going to have these different parts in it. All right, and so we're going to have that idea, and that's what you want things to look like for our next step. So go ahead and get that done. So as you finish up this tutorial, you should now have a document that looks basically just like this. All right, with your name, title, paragraph. You showed me how you can italicize, bold, and underline things, and you can put a bulleted list. Now, if I was right here and I press enter, you could see another bullet is going to come up. If I don't want that there, I just come up to the top and say turn the bullets off. Just click it once again. The other thing you can do is you can go to this little menu right here, and you can choose which bullet you're going to use if you wanted to continue using bullets. This is going to be an important thing when it comes to the test that you're going to have on Word 1, 2, and 3 as you review all these different concepts. So keep this in mind of how to change bullets is to go to this little menu right there. All right, this is it for Word 2. Key idea, of course, is just working with these skills of bold, italicize, underline, understanding alignment, understanding bullets and numbering. And when you're done, you can save it as Word 2 and upload it to the team site. That's it for Word 2.